Welcome to another Cup of Joe. I'm your host, Joe Tumalo, CEO of Major and Planned Giving Development, with my guest today, Jeanne Troy. Welcome back, Jeanne.
Thank you, thank you. And I have my Christmas mug because it's Christmas every day.
Christmas in July when we're taping.
Christmas in July, yes. Actually, that would have been tomorrow. Christmas in July, we're a day off.
Oh, wow. Thank you for coming back. Back by popular demand. Just bombarded with emails and texts and when are we going to get Jeanne Troy back on Cup of Joe? So we've had a great conversation. The first conversation was about board members. And most of us probably have all sat on boards. And I will admit, we were talking about board members asking for money. I do some private or personal fundraising for an endowment fund that we have, my wife and I have, and I reach out to family and friends, and I have to say, as much I ask for money all day long or non-cash assets, but asking direct family members, it's weird. So how does a board member do that? Like, what are your suggestions?
I mean, I would be nice if the family supported the board that you're interested, but I think of a board's role as more than just outside asking family. It's asking donors that have been identified within the organization, either through their donor management software or wealth management software, which there's a ton out there. But they've looked at the donor giving history. Okay, this is a board role. I mean, they need to get involved with asking current donors to step it up a notch. If they're out and about at a chamber event or networking and they talk to people, it's a discovery time. Find out what makes them tick. I love those kinds of events because you just never know what little nuggets people don't realize they drop. So, it's finding out the hot buttons for the donor. And then to get to the point of asking for a gift, whether it's a major gift, a planned gift, or whatever, it's going to take a while. It doesn't happen, hey, Jeanne's here. I know she's going to ask me for money. Most people that know me know that, yeah, I will, but at some point in time. And when I was on the other side of the table asking for money, as opposed to counseling organizations how to do it, I would get that out of the way up front. If it's a new donor and I just want to get to know them, I tell them today is not the day that you're going to have to part with your money. So you can breathe easy. We're going to sit and have a nice conversation, go to breakfast, do whatever. But eventually there'll come a time and I'll give you a heads up. And they're like, oh, okay. And you can feel and relax and you can have a good conversation. So it could take, for me, at least 7 contacts to even broach the part of asking for money. And to be honest, I don't ask in the traditional sense. I will have by then have figured out what makes them tick, why they chose this particular nonprofit, what is it about it? If it's an animal nonprofit, well, I get that. So, I support an elephant nonprofit, for heaven's sakes, because if I were unblurred, you'd see all the elephants in the room. So I find out, and then I'll say, your $5,000 gift will help feed and teach elephant conservation to the world, because there's only 300,000 elephants left in the world. That's it. No. 10,000 die every year. Do the math. In 30 years, we're not going to have any. So I said, your $10,000 will help support this training and this education and this conservation for this incredibly docile mammal. I didn't ask the person, Joe, would you consider giving $10,000? What are you going to say?
Oh, I got to go.
Yeah, which is the polite way of saying no. But if you don't ask it as a yes or no question, and you are quiet in the old, true, dedicated sales closing technique of state your piece and shut up, then they'll say, well, I can't do 10,000. Okay, what can you do? And how would you like to pay it? So you're leading them where you want them to be when you ask, but it's not a yes or no ask. It's a statement of need, and this is what it's going to do. That's how I ask. It's how I've asked for 30 years. I learned one time when I did truly ask, well, could you do a $20,000 gift to blah blah blah? No. Where are you going to go when they say no? It's like, oh, okay, thank you. You know, can I come back in 6 months and ask? No. So I'm dead. I'm dead in the water. I can't do anything if they say no. But if they say, can't do it now, oh, okay, can't do it now. When can you do it? And then, you know, can I call you back in 3 months and see if things have changed? Or let's get together. I don't ask the yes, no, so I have to rethink that. Let's get together in 3 months and chat about where you are and see if we're any closer to making that gift to save the elephant.
That's great.
That's what I do.
I love your courage and tenacity. It's wonderful.
Well, you know, there's a reason the word funds and fundraising, because you have to have fun with it. I mean, I'll give an example, and any person who's in the fundraising field can relate to this. I had a client, and he still is a client. I had a donor who still is a donor. I went to see him, and I went in, and I got there, and I'm going to demonstrate what he was. Oh, ow. His feet were on the desk like that when I walked into the office with this position. Okay.
Wow.
So I looked at him before I sat down, and I said, clear off the space. I want to put my feet up. And he looked at me, and I'm like, that's a power move. Nobody has power over me. So you either clear the space or put your feet down. One of the two.
Wow.
He cleared the space, put my feet up. We had the conversation, and I walked out with $20,000.
Oh, that's great.
So knowing your audience, knowing their little idiosyncratic stuff that they have goes a big deal. Would I do that to all my donors? No. But I knew this one. I've known him for years, and I thought, no, not working on that one with me.
That reminds me of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, where the matching and mirroring. I mean, you have to do it carefully, like you said.
Right.
That's matching and mirroring, rather than be timid and let that person try to project power over you. You match and mirror what they're doing.
And I did it with humor. And I did it with humor. And that's another thing that works for me. If I'm in a conversation with a prospective donor, I love to laugh. If I can't make somebody laugh, that person's a lost cause. That's how I look at it. Because laughter breaks down barriers. Laughter gives you something to bond over. It could be self-deprecating. It could be just about something in general. But if you make them laugh, they just drop their guard, and you're able to have a more normal, in as much as you can, conversation. So laughter is good for the soul.
Yeah, and I like that, making them at ease. I do that on the phone. I am from the fundraising office. The good news is I'm not calling to ask you for money today. And it's like,
exactly.
Okay, now you just have a conversation.
You can feel that balloon deflate, and they're ready to listen. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is. So.
So wrapping up here. Do we really need board members to actually make that final ask? Don't we really just want them to introduce us, maybe accompany us, and then just kind of, as we build trust and rapport, hand it over to us? Do we really need the board member to actually ask for money?
So there's a couple different schools of thought on that, and you know that. I'm a believer in peer-to-peer. I'm staff. It is my job to ask. You, as a board member, are talking to someone of your equal. Okay, much harder to say no to you than it would be to me, because I'm supposed to ask. Peers, when they ask, kind of take the donor by surprise, because now it's like, oh crap, he asked me for money, then I can turn around and ask him for money. And that's how it works. You keep the cycle of giving going. But I think it is critical that you, the peer, ask the donor to give. I can be there to talk about the financials and how it's going to use and how many people it's going to help serve, projects, artwork going up, whatever the cause may be, elephants fed, dogs rescued, I don't know. But you, because you're a board member and you believe in the mission and you know me as potential donor, well, it must be really worthwhile if Joe is on the board. So there's that level of intimacy that staff wouldn't get unless it's after 8-10 years of working with the donor. Great. So yes, I think it's important. It's a long way to answer your question.
Good stuff. And you do board training, right?
Yes, I do. And I do strategic long range plans, 1, 3, and 5 year, which is where do you see the organization in 1 year, 3 year, 5 years? And then I have everybody, staff, board members, everybody in the organization do a strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. And we prioritize on both the 1, 3, and 5 and the SWOT, which ones are important. Like out of the 1, 3, and 5 years, it's 5 years you want to have an executive director. Well, that's number 1 for year 5, have executive director in place. Now to get there on the organizational structure by year 5, have executive director in place. That's the goal. And who's going to do it? And when is it going to be completed by? So those two mesh really well together when you do a strategic long-range plan.
Great. And how
That's how I do it.
How can people get in touch with you to talk about these things?
You can email me at Jeanne, Jeanne. It's not Jeannie, it's not Jeanne, it's Jeanne, Jeanne at DAZA, D as in David, A as in Apple, Z as in Zoo, and A as in artillery. I don't know where that came from. Jeanne at DAZAdevelopment.com.
Awesome. Jeanne, thank you once again.
You're welcome. My
adding
pleasure.
value to our programming.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Be well.
Yes, you too.